Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
Should send off alarm.
Asking questions about the unmasking. What were you going for there?
We're not going to reauthorize these surveillance programs if the American people are not satisfied that their security is going to be safeguarded. So leaks are...
Congress poised to jam through reauthorization of mass surveillance. By Jason Pai and Sean Vitka, opinion contributors November 27, 17, 6:20 a.m. EST 25. The views expressed by contributors are their own and not the view of the Hill. Congress doesn't have much time left on the legislative calendar for the year, but there's still a lot on the agenda to get across the finish line. In the few remaining days, Republicans hope to pass a tax reform bill and either another short-term continuing resolution or an omnibus to fund the government. Another item on the agenda is the reauthorization of Title VII of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, including the controversial Section 702. The current authorization for Section 702 expires on December 31, and it's the first time Congress has faced this reauthorization since Edward Snowden's earth-shattering disclosures about the National Security Agency's mass surveillance apparatus. Committees in the Senate and House have competing proposals to reauthorize the program. But with the clock running out, Congress once again appears to be poised to jam through reauthorization. Passed in 1978, FISA allows federal intelligence agencies to collect the electronic communications of foreign persons to surveil for certain illicit activities, including terrorism. But not all of the electronic communications collected by the National Security Agency, NSA, are those of foreign persons. According to a 2014 Washington Post report, 90% of account holders whose communications were collected were not the intended targets. Many of them were Americans, the Post explained. Nearly half of the surveillance files, a strikingly high proportion, contained names, email addresses, or other details that the NSA marked as belonging to U.S. citizens or residents. Civil libertarians have urged Congress to take this reauthorization as an opportunity to implement meaningful reforms to shield innocent Americans from mass surveillance while ensuring that federal intelligence agencies have the tools they need to protect the United States from foreign threats. Some in Congress, however, seem committed to running roughshod over the Fourth Amendment. The Senate Select Committee on Intelligence has marked up the FISA Amendments Reauthorization Act, S. 2010. The bill, sponsored by Chairman Richard Burr, RN.C., is actually worse than existing law. It explicitly allows the Attorney General to use information collected under Section 702 for domestic crimes that have nothing to do with national security and forbids judicial review of that decision. Meanwhile, the House Judiciary Committee has marked up the USA Liberty Act, which, despite or because of painstaking deliberations, does not sufficiently protect innocent Americans from surveillance. The House version of the USA Liberty Act, for instance, has a weak warrant requirement, which would allow the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, to conduct backdoor searches of electronic communications collected by the NSA for domestic, non-terrorism investigations. Additionally, the proposed end of about collection, in which the government collects information that is neither to nor from a target, would sunset after 6 years. The FISA court forced the end of about collection earlier this year, finding the practice to be a very serious Fourth Amendment issue. The court also concluded that the NSA's failure to disclose information represented an institutional lack of candor. These are just two of many red flags the secret judicial body has raised over intelligence agencies' collection practices. There are alternatives. The Senate companion to the USA Liberty Act, introduced by Senators Patrick Leahy, DVT, and Mike Lee, R. Utah, improves upon the version marked up by the House Judiciary Committee. In particular, the improvements include a far stronger prohibition on searching for Americans' information without a warrant and permanently ending about collection. Separately, Senators Ron Wyden, D. Orr, and Rand Paul, RKY, have introduced the USA Rights Act. The bill would stop backdoor searches of Americans' information, permanently end about collection, fix disturbing problems faced by defendants against whom the government uses Section 702 information, forbid the knowing collection of entirely domestic communications, and institute other important reforms. The USA Rights Act is by far the strongest reform bill on the table, and all who truly care about their civil liberties should support it. But despite these tremendous efforts by many in Congress, the ink on the Bill of Rights, which is so crucial to the American experiment, is fading. With no clear path to the floor for any of these bills, the chance that Section 702 reauthorization with no or minimal reforms is included in an omnibus has grown significantly. But a spending bill is no place for an issue that literally affects the fundamental rights of every American. It is no place for substantive debate over the very real privacy and security issues facing America. The leadership in the House and the Senate must give those in both parties the opportunity to offer amendments to reform FISA. These ideas have broad bipartisan support, and the closure of the backdoor search loophole itself has passed the House of Representatives twice. To jam Section 702 reauthorization into an omnibus or to otherwise prevent debate on the floor would not only diminish Americans' privacy, it would diminish our voice. The public deserves a chance to fight for its Fourth Amendment right to privacy and to know the names of those, Republican and Democrat alike, who are actively working to diminish this fundamental liberty. Jason Pai is the Vice President of Legislative Affairs for Freedom Works. Sean Vitka is counsel for Demand Progress.
Should send off alarm.
Asking questions about the unmasking. What were you going for there?
We're not going to reauthorize these surveillance programs if the American people are not satisfied that their security is going to be safeguarded. So leaks are one issue. The unmasking within the intelligence community, that is a privilege to be able to request that a U.S. person's name be unmasked. And I want to know who's making the request, what is the evidentiary basis of that request, and if it's late in your tenure, like the day before you leave office, that should send off alarms and sirens in your head as to why that person did it.
Okay, two more specific questions on that. Do you have evidence that the Obama administration abused the unmasking and the procedures under the law?
I don't have a good definition for the word abused. I need to know what the policies and procedures are, and I need to know the full universe of unmasking requests. Were any denied? Were some granted with very scant evidentiary basis? I don't want to accuse any administration of doing something until I have access to the facts, but it is certainly legitimate lane of inquiry.
So you're saying it's a possibility?
It is a possibility among lots of other possibilities, including that they followed the policies and followed the procedures. I want to know if there are certain trends. Were there more requests at the end? Were certain people making requests? At the end of the administration.
Okay, got it.
Yes, sir.
Last question then, and then I've got to run, and I thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe this is how the Obama team could have spied on the Trump team? Is that a possibility or not?
I don't want to use the word spy because the unmasking, while very important, unmaskings that don't result in leaks is one category of internal deliberation. The unmaskings that result in leaks of classified information, that's a crime. So I want to be fair to the president. I'm not going to accuse him or anyone of spying until I have all the unmaskings, until we have an end to the leak investigation.
There's a lot to go through. I hope you come back, okay? Trey Gowdy, thank you for your time.
Hey, Charlotte County. This is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is. As you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me, and I'm sick of it. So I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if some, if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a, let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt-free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, if I got, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. 47,000 of you so far right now. $1 a day. $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.